everybody, Jim from Jim's Coleus. So we're marching on. The weather has been spectacular for my Coleus. The past week and a half, 2 weeks have been hot, but not really overly hot, not 100 degrees, but in the 80s and 70s, but humid. And we've had some regular rain and misty nights. So I'll keep my greenhouse open, and it does wonders for the growth. It's amazing how inside of just a few weeks how they explode. So we're going to go and take a look at, especially if you're following along my last video, just take a look and you'll see the difference, the explosive growth. And you can do this too. It's not very hard. So let's go and I'll give you some pointers along the way. Okay, so again, this is what I regularly do through this season. Again, I primarily grow my Coleus for the farmer's market, but also another main thing, I say it's 50-50, is my YouTube channel, and to teach people what I know and what I do to grow these beautiful Coleus, get more and more of you hooked on it. It's a lot of fun. It's very easy to do. You know, it doesn't cost you a lot of money, and especially if you grow and harvest your own seeds. It's a great hobby, and you don't need a big greenhouse. You don't necessarily need a greenhouse, depending on how many you're going to grow and what your intentions are. I have the farmer's market, so I need a greenhouse to store all of these. So as you can see, as I would mention, we got lots of growth here. The hanging baskets are really overflowing. They're doing really well. I only grew about 4 hanging baskets, and you know, I've been getting a lot of questions about, can I let my seed stalks, what do I do when I have seed stalks coming in? You know, seed stalks don't wait until fall. Seed stalks will, as you can see here, develop at any time. So what should you do? That's up to you now. I don't need seeds for, this is a Kong variation. So I don't need seed stalks for this. So what I do is when you see these seed stalks coming in, and you don't want to collect seeds at this point, you just snap them off. And just go there and just look around and see if you see any developing. Just snap them off. You're not going to hurt the plant, and that's what you do. Now there are a couple of plants here right now that are growing seed stalks. I'll get that in a minute. That I'm gonna let them grow seed stalks right now, because I want seeds from these particular plants. So here's an example. These are kaleidoscopes. I'm sorry, these are mosaics, and these are developing seed stalks. So I'm going to let just these two grow seed stalks. If I have to sacrifice these 2 plants, that's fine. I have plenty more. As you can see, I have another one here. This is not growing seed stalks. So any of the other mosaics that I have, if they start to develop seed stalks, I'll trim those seed stalks off. But we're going to continue to let these grow, and I'm going to separate these because I don't have a lot of, right now I don't have to worry about cross-pollination, because I don't have any other Coleus here getting pollinated by bees and insects. So we have these Coleus out on the table. We're letting them, it's a partially sunny day, and we're sort of hardening these plants off and trimming them. So as you can see, you can really just take my videos and apply them to however many Coleus you have. But you can see here, I'm just going through everything. Some of them need more water than others. If you see any organic debris like this, just remove it, because it keeps the chances of getting any kind of disease at a minimum. So just go through all your Coleus. Anything you see out of the ordinary, just remove anything. You see anything that you want to trim, you can see these. I have these. I'm going to trim these tops, but I already went through a lot of them and trimmed the tops. So at this point, that's what I just fed them some Miracle-Gro plant food, some general purpose plant food, the liquid. And again, this is the system I like to use. Again, it's general purpose Miracle-Gro plant food, and I have this garden feeder that you attach to the hose. You run it and it meters and mixes the proper amount of food in the liquid, and then I'll put some in a pot. But this is really good stuff, and I feed them every 10 to 14 days. So that I like using that Miracle-Gro liquid plant food. It feeds really good for the roots. It gets right into the soil and the roots, and it really makes these Coleus explode. You can see we have a nice variety, and I go through each one. You see, if you see a leaf that's damaged or torn, just get your scissors, keep your scissors on standby, and let's cut that leaf. It's not going to hurt the Coleus. I already trimmed the top. This is how you do it. This is how you get your Coleus nice and thick and full. Get that growth coming in by trimming the tops. This Coleus here, this is as high as I'm going to let this grow. So anything new, I'm going to trim that. Any new growth up top here, I'm going to trim, and I'm going to keep trimming that. And what that's going to do is just keep stimulating new shoots coming out of here. All those new shoots will just keep stimulating. That's how you get a nice full bushy Coleus. Some Coleus are a little more stubborn than others. Kongs, like this is an Empire Kong. These things go mad. I don't really mess with these much because they just go crazy full. This is beautiful. Look at this. It's a beautiful, beautiful Coleus. This is absolutely my best seller. All the years I've been selling them, these go right away. Every single one. But at the end of the season, I don't have one left. They're all gone. It's a beautiful jade. There's a Saturn and more of the marble. And let's go and take a look. I have so many fishnets that I grew that actually are doing fabulous. They're a little slow. They're slow to grow, but let's go take a look at them. Here they are. Here are the baby fishnets, but again, they're very slow growing. This is the first year I was able to get fishnet seeds, and I did that last year by using Bloom Booster, thanks to one of my YouTube followers, that Pat. Appreciate that point. I'll never forget it. But if you really want to get seeds, give it some Bloom Booster, and that'll give you a better chance of getting seeds, which I did. So you can see these will grow to be this wonderful plant. These are from this plant. So here we are, beautiful fishnets. So I got about 50 of them, 25 to 50. I think I have just one or two to a pot. So not quite 50, but we got enough. And again, each year for my farmers market, I try to think of get different things each year, and I came across these little fellows, these little trinkets for plants. They really hang on a pot, but they're kind of neat. So I bought about 50 of them, and we'll see how they go. I'll include them in some of my pots. And they're cute little things. And again, I try to do that every year. I try to find different pots and think of different ways to pot my Coleus, or try to get different Coleus. I try to expand my Coleus. And again, the Coleus I have for sale are all non-patented. They're okay to propagate Coleus. They're legal to propagate, which means I'm allowed to plant the seeds. I'm allowed to sell the Coleus like Kongs, or they're legal to propagate. The fishnets are legal to propagate. There's certain ones that are not, that are under patent that you can't. And from where I get my seeds and so forth, I know which ones are which. But I guess you see, here's another example of these are different. I got these this year, and they're perfect for the farmer's market. These other little, I like the little ones the best because they're easy to transport. For purpose of my farmer's market, I find that they sell a lot easier. And again, you can see there, I got another seed stalk coming in. I really don't need it. I have 2, 3 right now, so we're going to just trim that. Just snap it off. But for purposes of my farmer's market, I like these small ones. And again, as in with my YouTube channel, my eBay seeds that I sell in the fall, and my farmer's market, all the proceeds, money I make, I take a portion and I donate it regularly to the USO and Wounded Warriors. You'll find I'll post on my Instagram channel, which I'm pretty active. I'll post a donation. I'll put up a donation thing for USO Wounded Warriors every once in a while. It's a great cause. So you can see it's a little cool, and it's a little. The sun was out before, but you can see they're starting to curl up a little bit. I'm going to bring these back in the greenhouse, but you can see they're starting to curl up a little. There's another seed stalk coming in. So they're starting to curl up, which means they're protecting themselves. It's protecting itself. It's curling up to I gave them some water, so we know it's not that it needs water. They might be a little cold. These are a little more tender than these bigger Coleus. So these are protecting themselves by putting, sort of like an umbrella, it's protecting the leaf. And that's the defense mechanism of this plant, is they curl up to protect the plant. Now Coleus can also curl down, and that's another issue. That's that could be a mildew problem, or too much water, or if your Coleus that's like this starts to get really washed out looking, that's too much water. If the leaves start to flop down, then that's too much water. So you have up, and then you have your leaves that curl down, and there's 2 different reasons why. But look at this, isn't it beautiful? Look at the color. And you know what's great is that these can be brought inside, and what a great gift. This is one of my favorite. I love these colored. I say it over and over. I love these colored containers, and these can go. You can do whatever you want. You can, this Coleus here. If you put this, you bought this from me, say for example, and you want to put it in a bigger container, by all means do it, and it'll grow into either a larger Coleus. So the larger the container, the larger your Coleus is going to grow. So here's one, they're kind of flopped down, but this one's leaf is curling up, so these are just kind of weighed down. They really need to be trimmed. But they're all healthy. These are all pretty healthy. But they've been out around 2 hours already. So they're all well watered. And we're gonna get them back in the greenhouse. And that's another reason why I like to put these outside, is once I put them back in the greenhouse, I switch them around from where they were last. So inside my greenhouse, again, here are the racks. So I'm very, I remember where all of the trays were. So trays that were over here last, we'll move them over here. Or trays that were up top, we'll move on the bottom over here. Trays that were back there, I'll move over here, and so forth. Trays that were here, I'll move in the back. I give them different aspects of light. There's differences inside the greenhouse. And another major necessity in greenhousing is a fan. When we get days that are in the 80s and 90s, it can get well over 100 in here. Even with all the windows and doors open, it can get really brutal. So we need the air movement. I put it on oscillate. I don't put it right up next to the plants. I have a few in here. I couldn't fit everything on the table. But you got to make sure you use a fan. And this is if you're greenhousing. If you're growing a lot of Coleus, they really need ventilation. They need air movement, and that keeps it cool. It also keeps insects from finding homes in the soil and underneath. Coleus generally pests. You'll see holes in the leaves, or they'll be hanging out underneath here nice and cool and shady. The fan will usually prevent them from finding a nice comfortable place, because insects don't like the wind either. So they'll likely move on and leave your Coleus alone. So it's another insect tip. And let me show you one last thing for insects. Okay, many people ask, how do I take care of insects? What do I use for insects? Hey, look, I do have some insects in here. I'm not telling you I don't. I have these little gnats flying around. You can't get rid of everything, but the main problem, the ones you have to worry about, the ones that eat your Coleus leaves, and I don't have any. As you can see, I have, and you'll have insects problems because they'll start chomping away at these leaves. You'll have holes here and so forth. You know when you have insect problems. But anyway, I like using this. This is, it doesn't have to be this brand. I got this on Amazon. You can get this in most Lowe's, Home Depot stores, or online, Walmart. It's a natural insect killing soap, and it's perfect for Coleus. But the one thing I can tell you, it's very pungent. You don't want to use it on really young Coleus because it could be a little harsh. It's safe for us, but you still don't want to be in an enclosed area. So when I use this stuff, I spray it and I make sure that I don't breathe it in because it's very pungent. This is probably why the insects avoid it, because it's very pungent stuff. So, but I'll use this every couple of weeks now that the Coleus are growing here, and if I see some white flies or anything like that, here's some other ones. I'll spray it and I'll give it a liberal dose over some here like this, just in general. And that's it. But safer insect killing soap, and this is perfect for insects that will like to feast on Coleus plants. Okay, now here's another plant. This is a Kong rose, and I am keeping this separate away, and I'm letting it develop seed stalks because I want seeds from this, because this is a beautiful Coleus and I like to grow these year after year. So we're letting them grow, and you can see here is a seed pod that's ready to go. If you look closely, you can see the black seeds in the pod. You can actually see the little black balls. Those are the seeds in the seed pod. So we still have some flowers. I'm gonna let these stay. I have them away. I don't have any other Coleus around here that have seed pods, so I have a good chance of getting pure seeds, as opposed to having a bunch of Coleus, different type of Coleus next to each other. You have a chance of getting cross-pollination. So, but this plant here, this is actually left over from last year, and this I'm keeping to harvest seeds only. Okay, and another thing I do, I like to grow these humongous planters, and this is when I started. So I choose two Coleus that I really like, and this is about I guess it's a 16, maybe 16 or 18. I think it's a 16-inch pot. I'll put the two Coleus in here. These were already hardened, so they're good to be outdoors, and I'll leave these out here. And just throughout the season, Now, if you're following along, remember this Coleus. I know I see this in other videos. Remember this video. Remember this Coleus, and this is going to be a huge, beautiful, full, overflowing Coleus that's going to just knock your socks off. So stay tuned. Keep track here of Jim's Holiest of Coleus, and check out this beautiful Coleus. By the end of July, I'm going to say that this is going to be a huge, beautiful, beautiful Coleus, like something like this. This Coleus right here is started off just like this. So stay tuned, and this is how you can make your own Coleus plot. Again, to save yourself some time or money, on the bottom I'll put some stone, I'll put some cheap topsoil on the bottom, and then the very top I'll mix good quality Miracle-Gro potting soil, because Miracle-Gro potting mixture is pretty expensive, and for me to make up enough to make up 4 or 5 of these, that's a lot of money. And I don't need on the bottom here. And I'll mix in fertilizer in the topsoil, because as the roots start to spread down, the soil, even though it's topsoil, will have good fertilization. So just an idea for you, what I do just to cut down my costs. But this is going to be a beautiful, beautiful Coleus. Okay, so let's move on to my planters on my deck. Now, as you know, each year I make up my planters, and again, just like the last plant, by July, August, they already start to explode, but they still look a little shady. But I don't worry about it, because this is the same thing I go through every year, and they're going to look gorgeous. And let's go take a look at them now. Okay, so as you can see, we're starting to really fill out, and I put a number of different Coleus. I always include jades, and I have some Kongs. These are Empire Kongs, and here's a marble, a Lasso marble. And this is going to be a beautiful, big Coleus. And again, if you're following along, keep following along and follow through the season. And I'll always come back to this in another couple of weeks and show you. Again, this one here also, this is going to be a beautiful, beautiful Coleus. I just trimmed this. This had some bigger leaves, but I trimmed it just to promote the growth, the undergrowth. But this is going to be another gorgeous, gorgeous pot. As you can see, my wife just went shopping for some perennials. We have a beautiful multi-season garden. I have a video on it. If you want to check back on my list of videos, I have them. But anyway, here's but these will be planted in our multi-season garden. So here's another. And this will explode. Now this is one of those black, this is one of the fishnets. The ones in the over the winter, the ones that are rootings. This is one of the fishnets, and you can see it's kind of leggy, but it's all that. Look at all that growth coming in. These are a little slow this year. They were a little shaky. Every year is a little different. It all depends on the weather. But here's my other planter, and it's going to be a fabulous, fabulous Coleus. And the hanging basket that I created. You can see how this is kind of light. It's kind of washed out. We got a lot of rain. The past week, we've been getting torrential rain, but this is a hanging basket. It's well drained, so these are not going to sit in soaking. The soil is not going to sit soaking wet, but you'll get that. You'll get some washed out leaves. Just pick them off, trim them off, and it'll grow. And here's another. This was another overwintered Coleus I had in a pot. I decided to put it in this one. This is I guess it's a 14-inch plastic pot. It's an Empire. It's not an Empire Kong, but it is in the Kong family. I believe it's an Empire Kong. Kongs are great. There's a lot of variations of the Kong, and they grow huge, and they can tolerate full sun. In a pot like this, soil holds a lot of moisture, but I water these in the summer. Once the summer kicks in and we're getting really hit day after day with really hot 90-degree full sun, this is going to dry out. So I water it every single day, sometimes 2 times a day. And here's another little beautiful. This is that little zinc bucket that I have. I've had this for years, and every year I just do the same thing. I just throw a haphazard, got some seed stalks growing in. We need to snip that, but just throw a nice collection. It's already a beautiful, beautiful Coleus. And here, this is another one that I plant every year. I try to put a little something different. And I always have these beautiful jitters. They're one of my favorite pots. There's a couple of Defiance, some Kongs. And then again, it's early. By July, it's going to be a nice full Coleus, especially if we keep getting the weather we've been getting. Those hot, humid, misty, rainy nights is perfect. That's the ideal weather. Those misty nights where it's not pouring rain, it's misty out, almost like a cloud's going through. That's perfect for Coleus. They love that. They thrive on it. Alright, before we go, again, here are the hanging baskets. Again, that has a Jitters and a Defiance, and that's another Kong variation. Again, there's the Jitters. Now you can see there's a little difference between this one and that one, but they're both Jitters, just a different variation of Jitters. There's it's a Jade, I believe. It's sort of like the other Jade variation, Jade Kong, because it has these really thick, wide leaves. Beautiful, beautiful. This is a beautiful hanging basket. And you can see why I like to use Jitters Coleus on hanging baskets, because they're perfect. Alright, so thanks for stopping by and saying hi. I hope you got a little something out of my video. I try to teach, give you pointers as I go along. And any questions, again, best place to reach me is follow me on Instagram. You can send me photos if you have a problem with your Coleus or a general question. You can shoot me a question over there, or leave it at the end of this. Leave a comment question at the end of the video. So hope everyone's doing well, following along. Thank you. We're over 7,000 followers here on YouTube, so I appreciate every one of you. So until next week, everyone stay healthy and safe, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching Jim's Holiest of Coleus.